I was a former paramedic, lost my job in 2019, not because of COVID, but because of my health, because I couldn't fulfill my jobs, couldn't hardly walk. My health was just absolutely horrible. For the next 3 years, I couldn't work, couldn't walk, I couldn't stand on my feet for more than 30 seconds, gained weight, health issues got worse. In 2021, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I was on 3 different blood pressure medicines, amlodipine, lisinopril, and HCTZ. I had gout, uric acid, depression. A lot of days, it's hard to describe depression adequately. I use the word hopeless because that's about the closest word that I've ever found that can speak to that situation. But it's demoralizing to find yourself in that position.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining for another episode of the Plant-Free MD. I'm your host, Dr. Anthony Chafee, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Shawn White, who goes by Intentional Carnivore on social media. Shawn, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's an honor.
You're very welcome. So you have I think a fantastic story, and you've started your own YouTube channel and had other people on, but really your own story, I think, is the most inspirational thing. You had a very significant amount of weight to lose and medical issues, mental health issues as well that you were struggling with for a number of years. And you seem to have improved those greatly by going on carnivore. Can you tell us a bit about that and your story?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd be glad to. Like I said, thanks for having me again. It's such an honor. And thank everybody for joining and listening to it. It's going to hear it. Yeah, so I had found myself in a very bad situation. April the 17th, 2022 is whenever I started the carnivore diet, once I had found it. But before that, everything that led up to that, I guess, kind of sets the stage just a little bit. I was a former paramedic, lost my job in 2019, not because of, 2019, not because of COVID, but because of my health, because I couldn't fulfill my jobs, couldn't hardly walk. My health was just absolutely horrible. And whenever I lost my job for the next 3 years, I couldn't work, couldn't walk, I tell people on the channel all the time that I couldn't even take a shower without sitting on the side of the tub to bathe myself. It had gotten extremely bad. I couldn't stand on my feet for more than 30 seconds without I guess it's the sciatic nerves or whatever was happening with my hips and in my back starting to throb and hurt. And if I didn't sit down by the time it started going numb, I would literally fall over, So I was 39 years old, when I started this diet, this way of life. I hate calling it a diet.
Mm-hmm.
Started this way of life. So I guess 3 years before that, obviously 36 years old. I mean, it's demoralizing to find yourself in that position, And so like I said, lost the job, laid on the couch for about 3 years, gained weight, health issues got worse. In 2021, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I'd been pre-diabetic for 25 years, and pre-diabetic, I was like, well, cool, I'm good. If I'm not a diabetic, I'm golden, just keep rocking with it. I was on 3 different blood pressure medicines, amlodipine, lisinopril, and HCTZ. I had gout, uric acid buildup, or gout flare-ups really bad in my joints. Sleep apnea. I was never technically diagnosed with sleep apnea, but my wife would get so scared when I would go to sleep because I would just gasp for air occasionally. And my brother ended up giving me a CPAP machine that I put on, and it told me that I quit breathing between 13 or so times an hour.
Wow.
And so I did have sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
It was between 13 and 15 was the numbers I got, I think, whenever I first started wearing it. So like I said, it just, one thing, the depression, a lot of days, it's hard to describe depression adequately. I use the word hopeless because that's about the closest word that I've ever found that can speak to that situation. But not even if I could, even if I could get up, I couldn't make myself get up. about the furthest I would get up and go or do is walk to the bathroom, to go to the bathroom and back to the couch. I would sleep all the time, no energy. It was just miserable. And it just festered for 3 long years. And I would listen to Joe Rogan. And one day I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he did an interview with Rhonda Patrick. And it was an older interview. It wasn't brand new when I heard it even. But they were talking about this carnivore diet. And I'm not real sure that she was absolutely an advocate for carnivore, but she was giving some research for it, you know? And so it got me, by their conversation and them talking about it, it made me curious because, you know, even if she's not, like, what they're saying is important, you know, to me, because at that time I had no idea what carnivore was. And I had never heard of it. And like I said, I've been in the medical field most of my life and worked specifically in EMS for 12 years. So I just got real curious about it and started searching that on YouTube, because that's about all I did other than lay here and watch TV and game and whatever else. So I got to searching and come across this crazy doctor named Ken Berry. And I'm like, this guy, he ought to know better. Saying you can get rid of these type 2 diabetes, you know, you can, this is the proper human diet, really? Just meat?
Good Southern gentleman like him should know better.
Oh man, I'm telling you. And I said, all right, Dr. Ken Berry, if this is the proper human diet and it'll work all these miracles, I want to be 190 pounds. Nevertheless, I thought it was crazy. I thought about it. I listened to, the more I listened to him and him talk about the science of it and like how the insulin works and how your blood sugar relates to the fat. And I'm like, so all I got to do is eat meat and it's going to fix all my problems. Well, we're going to find out. And so long story short, there's nothing special about April the 17th, 2022, except for that was the day that I grabbed a hold of carnivore. Today was my day. I'm not waiting till tomorrow, because there was plenty of I'll start Mondays and I'll start Saturdays and I'll start whatever days. April the 22nd, 2022 was my day, man. And I grabbed a hold of it.
Hey guys, just want to take a second to thank our sponsor, Carnivore Bar. I don't promote many products because honestly, all you need to be healthy is to just eat meat. For those times that you're out hiking, road tripping, or stuck at work and you want a nutritious snack that is just meat, fat, and salt if you want it, the Carnivore Bar is a great option. So I like this product not because it's just pure meat, but also because I want the carnivore market to thrive as well. And the more we support meat-only products, the more meat-only products there will be available in the mainstream. So if this sounds like something you'd like to get behind, check it out using my discount code Anthony to get 10% off, which also applies to subscriptions, giving you 25% off total. All right. Thanks, guys.
Nice. Well, that's fantastic. So you started it then, and what did you notice? You know, did you have any teething issues? Were there problems that you had? Was it pretty smooth, or what did you notice when you started it?
Looking back on the situation, it's hard to remember everything like just that I was feeling at the time, because I was so depressed for so long, I just almost like manic, like just like didn't even want to live anymore, depressed.
Right.
And so I hurt so much. I had so many issues that like anything I guess would have been an improvement from where I was at that point. But the first thing like I started to notice was that I wouldn't want to sleep. I could lay there, but I wouldn't lay there and sleep all the time. I was more cognizant of what was going on. I was starting to, I did go to the bathroom a little more initially because of whatever I had in me wanted out, all that build up of toxicity, I guess. But, I did have some time, what I describe as like a keto flu or, something like that, ketogenic flu or however you want to describe it. So I did feel like I had a sickness for a while, but it wasn't a month and a half in. I went beef, butter, bacon, and eggs on a challenge because I got involved with a community. After I found Dr. Berry, I got involved with Carnivore Quest community and started listening and watching and seeing testimonies and getting advice. And they do a challenge every month. So I jumped on June the 1st of 2022. I got on BBB and E. I didn't even like steak a whole lot up until that point. I would eat it, but like It is what it is.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
But once I got on it, man, and that's still the way I eat beef, butter, bacon, and eggs now. Mostly I dropped the bacon off and I still eat my eggs, butter, and steak now. But I just gave my story away, obviously. But so I got on June 1st, I got on beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And by July the 1st, there was a walking challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you I can't walk, I can't hardly stand. I had so much energy built up inside of me that I had to do something. So, and I'm still carrying around 457 pounds. I mean, I was not a little guy. I didn't lose 100 pounds overnight. 3 days in, I'm not wondering why I'm not losing weight. I'm a big dude. So I was so big, in fact, that I didn't have a scale in the house to weigh me. My wife's scale it just said error. You know what I'm saying? Like it was nothing. I had to go to the doctor to be weighed.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, July the 1st, July 2nd, right in that time frame is when the challenge started. I made a video that's actually on my channel, and it shows that's the first time in over 3 years that I'm outside and I'm walking, and I made that video to show that time period because I had so much energy. I felt good. It was amazing. It was that's the only thing. That's the only word I know to describe it. So much changed.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, man. And so how much weight have you lost? What weight did you start out with, and what are you at now?
So I started off at 245 pounds. 457 pounds. I now weigh 212 pounds. I've lost 245 pounds since April the 17th, 2022.
Dude, that's amazing, man. That's another big person. 2 people. Yes. Sometimes.
It's more than, I lost more than I weigh, but that's, and I do have to preface that though, Dr. Chafee, because I talk about the weight loss and it's amazing and I am proud of it. I always will be. I think anybody that loses that kind of weight should be, even though I know myself, I didn't control it. There was a button I could push to make it happen. I would have pushed that button even harder. I would have lost more, But the absolute best thing that I can speak to as far as what happened and how I feel is knowing that, yes, the weight's gone, I feel better. I have had one gout flare up in the entire time that I've been eating this way. And it was after I did some running and landed weird on the ankle. And I don't know that it acted like a gout flare up. So I called it a gout flare up, whatever. The gout's no issues. I don't take the allopurinol or colchicine anymore. I am off one and still working on coming off 2 of the other ones, but my blood pressure is like low side now. I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My A1C was 5.2 the last time I had it checked. It's so many. And the depression is like, obviously, if you see my channel, you guys, a lot of the people that are going to see this the depression is not there, and that alone enables me to do so much more and feel so much better. And I'm not far away from that 190 pounds, Dr. Barry.
That's amazing, man. And it's obviously we do see this in clinical studies now that you can reverse type 2 diabetes and even reverse major depression, even schizophrenia, OCD, bipolar disorder, anxiety disorder, things like that by switching to a ketogenic diet, restoring your metabolic health, improving the function of your mitochondria and every other aspect of your body. So, that's fantastic that you were brave enough to give that a try, because it does sound crazy. When you hear this for the first time, it is a bit wild and out there. I'm glad that Dr. Patrick was able to inspire you to go carnivore, because that was not her take on carnivore. So I remember seeing that episode on Joe Rogan where she was on there, and she went on there because she had written a 30-page paper excoriating the carnivore diet and saying how it was a bad idea and how it was wrong and all these sorts of things. And so he had her on that to talk about it. But, I agree, some of the things that she said, she took as maybe neutral or negative for the carnivore diet, or maybe not as convincing. But I took that as just like, well, actually, that's actually quite compelling. One of the things she said was, when you go on any sort of restrictive diet, and she lumped carnivore in with that, she said that people tend to eat less calories over time. And so they just sort of eat less and less and less over time. So that's all it is, just calories in, calories out. That's why people are losing weight. And, my thought was, well, do you not see how significant that is? Because people are eating to satiation, and it is less and less and less. Their body's telling them exactly how much to eat. Right. And it's telling them, exactly how much is enough. And so that's absolutely fantastic. And of course, the whole idea with calories in, calories out is far too simplistic. It's just reductionist. There's dozens of different carbohydrates. They all have completely unique chemical interactions in your body. There are dozens of different amino acids. They all have completely unique chemical interactions in your body. There are hundreds of fatty acids, and they all have completely unique chemical properties in your body. So just reducing these down to what you can burn them in a lab, in a beaker, this is not telling the full story. Obviously, carbohydrates raise insulin. You're going to have, you're going to have hormonal effects, blocks leptin, that disrupts your hormones even more, disrupts growth hormone, disrupts all these different sorts of, it can disrupt your estrogen, testosterone balance in both men and women. So there are a lot of effects that these calories can have on you, because they're not just calories, they're chemicals, and they have chemical reactions in your body. But even then, she said, oh, well, you're eating less and people losing weight. So that's all it is. People are eating less. Well, your body's telling you exactly what to eat and how much to eat and when to stop. And you can try, you can try eating too much if you want to. You're going to be miserable. It's going to suck. It's going to taste horrible, and your body's just going to rebel against it. And that's what some people say, that, oh, it takes me 2 hours to finish a meal because it tastes great at first, and then it takes me 2 hours to finish the rest of it. It's like, you were done 2 hours ago. Like that was your body telling you you're done, and that's it. And so I thought that was very significant. And there's a couple other points that she made that I was just like, actually, that's a point, a clear point in favor of going carnivore. And so some of the things, so I'm glad that you saw that, and you saw sort of, between the lines, and saw like, wow, this sounds really positive, because I thought so too. She was trying to say, well, no, this isn't what it's cracked up to be. But all the things that she was saying, I was just like, those are all clear benefits of doing this.
Yeah. So I wrote her a thank you note and sent it to her, and told her all the things I reversed on the carnivore diet and how I appreciate her talking to Joe about it. So
that's too funny. Did she ever reply?
No, I wasn't looking for a reply, but maybe one day, hopefully she will.
Well, it'd be nice, Yeah, definitely. Well, the thing is too, is if people do, say that to her and say, hey, I actually really appreciate it. I got interested in the carnivore diet, when you were on Joe Rogan, and these are all the benefits I got from it. It might sort of alert her to the fact that, hey, actually, this is helping a lot of people, and is doing things that we didn't think it could be done in medicine. That's and so that might be a very positive thing for her to see.
Absolutely. There's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. Yeah. Even Joe found benefit on doing carnivore for the little bit of time he did it. I have never heard anybody who long-term started eating this way of eating who was not primarily focused on weight loss. At this point in my journey, I've not seen anybody who committed to eating this way not see benefits fairly quickly and get better over time and feel better and be sorry that they did. I just haven't seen it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm sure there's cases out there, there's outliers, and there's all kinds of situations, because I hate classifying everybody in a big thing, but I mean, it's definitely a lopsided. The people who try it and are seeing the benefits and stuff. And I know for a fact, like, there's of all the different things that I've seen healed, the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, the type 2 diabetes, even if the weight loss hadn't been 245 pounds in a year, if it was 100 pounds and I still feel the way that I feel, the mental clarity, that's the things that inside my body that I have lab values of, that I can tell you that has happened and how I feel. What you can't see is me being able to be a husband to my wife again. What you can't see is me being able to be a dad to my kids, to talk to all the people who years down the road or a year down the road, I get to speak into now from my own channel, talking about my own experience. That it's almost like I don't even know how to describe how it multiplies and it splits and divides, and everybody has a responsibility to share it, man. You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing, man. And I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that you have literally gotten your life back, being, as you said before, being on the couch and depressed for 3 years and not even able to, really stand more than 30 seconds. Before we came on, you mentioned to me that when you first started walking, because you were so limited in your mobility, you were just walking to and from to your daughter's door in your house back to the couch. And that was where you had to start. Not many people, can really fathom just how limited their life would be if they were reduced to that, where they could walk down the hall and come back. And, people say, oh, well, you need to get out and exercise and this, that, and the other. There's some people that are not capable of doing strenuous exercise like, most people are. And so you really do have to address health in other ways, because you can't hop on a treadmill. And you can't just, lose the weight that way. You need something else. And I think that, the dietary interventions, are, I think honestly, they're first and foremost because you can start losing weight and gaining health and getting energy and mobility back without anything else. But also your body's going to be working differently, and you're going to get different benefits if you're eating one way versus the other. So, it's just, I think it's important for people to recognize just how powerful that is, that you were so limited in that sense. And you were basically starting from scratch. You were trying to just do as much as you possibly could and build from there. And I just have to say, I'm very impressed, and I'm very proud of you, honestly. And I'm not your, anyone that has had anything to do with that, but it's just like, I feel really,
well, you actually did have a lot to do it, because there was a lot of Dr. Anthony Chafee videos that got watched over that time period. And it was, it wasn't just Ken Berry. There's so many of you guys that I get to talk to and on occasion and whatever now that I looked up to, and getting that good information. And like, that's another motivator for me to do what, do with the channel, because, coming alongside the message and the fight, to get the truth out about this stuff. No, I'm not a doctor. No, I'm not a trained nutritionist. I do have a history in what obviously what I've said, but you did have an influence on me. You did, by doing the work that you're doing. And I was watching Dr. Anthony Chafee videos. Mm-hmm. So you had a bigger influence, you say, and I do appreciate that too. Yeah. But yeah, like the other thing that you just said though, if Dr. Berry had said, eat carnivore diet and get on the treadmill for 20 minutes a day, I'd have been like, nope, I'm done with this guy. I can't get on. It's pretty important, you know what I mean? To get I lost 45 pounds, like around right in that number the first month. That's just how unhealthy and inflamed my body was,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing too. You're going to get rid of so much inflammation, and that just in itself is going to, lose weight, but also allow you to be a bit more mobile, and you're not going to, your legs aren't going to go as numb or be as problematic when you get walking. And so it's such a huge benefit. It's not just the weight. Some people say, well, you do this sort of extreme diet and you lose weight and you get all these benefits. Well, you do get benefits from just being physically less, big, but the physiological benefits, I think, are the most important. And I mean, because you can lose weight and still be inflamed and sick and doing things the wrong way. And there's plenty of people, skinny fat people, the TOFIs, thin on the outside, fat on the inside. They're very metabolically unwell, and they have a lot of inflammation and a lot of joint pain and irritation. And they're not happy, and they're not able to live normal lives either. Obviously not to the same extent, but they can be dealing with serious depression and metabolic issues, even if they're skinny, and exercise can help. but it's not going to fix everything for everyone. Like you need the complete package. You need to get rid of these things that are damaging your body and causing all these problems in the first place.
Oh, absolutely. And man, I just can't state it enough, the feeling of that depression, because that's probably my biggest. I think I would trade the depression being gone for the weight loss. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think I'm at that point. And don't get me wrong, I'm very thankful. And I know that there's people out there that think, well, yeah, that's easy for you to say. I haven't lost 10 pounds in 6 months, whatever. But you lost 245 pounds. And that's amazing. I'm extremely thankful. Like I said, the main thing is, like you just pointed out, that depression, being able to function and think and be out of that torment that I was held captive in,
Yeah.
So, coming to the, and I do have to preface too, I told you before, I'm very religious. I pray. I believe in God. That's another focus of my life, and it kind of coincides with it, for me, giving God the glory for what happens to me, and leading me. I feel like he's used this way of eating. Personally, I believe that's how we're designed by him. I believe in creation. So I believe we were designed with a certain way to eat, and that's how he created us to eat, because obviously it's the best way to eat for our body. And that's what he intended, So I feel very fortunate to be on this journey and to be able to share it and see those benefits. And they're still going on, man. It's still getting better, because I've talked with other people about this issue. Sometimes normal doesn't, like, you feel so that euphoric feeling sometimes, but I don't know how to describe it other than like being on a drug or something like that. It's the only way I know to describe it. But there's sometimes feeling like that is almost like normal, because I feel so good. It's like a euphoric feeling all the time, and it's literally from, I'm not taking any drugs. It's got to be like what I'm eating and what I'm doing, So I mean, it's amazing how just the nutrition affects your body and changes things inside of you like that,
Yeah, definitely. Well, you were saying earlier that you've seen a lot of people gain a lot of health and a lot of good results from going carnivore. There certainly are people that sort of struggle early on, or maybe even after several weeks, a couple of months. It is the exception. It is more rare, but you do see people sort of not having a great time. But I've always found that there's some sort of troubleshooting and that can be done and help people out. And sometimes what people are worried about are things that are actually okay. Like some people get, they call it, heart palpitations, things like that. Their heart's doing crazy, whatever. They go to the doctor and they get an ECG, EKG, and it's just like, nope, everything's perfectly fine. But they just feel this pounding heartbeat, and they're very worried about that. Which is normal to be sort of concerned about that. But if you've had an EKG or an ECG in the rest of the world, then and the electricity is fine, and they're not seeing there's like nothing wrong there. Well, it's okay. And some people do find, I had it, I had a stronger heartbeat, and where I could just hear my heart beating out of my chest, but it was normal. But I was like, this is sort of weird, but I was like, but I timed it, and I was just like, there's a normal rate. It's a normal rhythm. It's just a heavy heartbeat. Like, I'm just gonna take that as my heart getting healthier, and your heart runs on ketones, prefers to run on ketones. And so now all of a sudden you've got this flood of ketones in your body, and your heart's just like, yes, let's go. That's sort of how I think about it. It may not be the mechanism, but whatever's happening, when we do get tracings on people, it's fine. There's nothing, there's no arrhythmia there. Now, if someone has an arrhythmia, obviously that's something they need to address, but it's not going to come from a carnivore diet anyway. But, so people get very worried about that. They're like, look, I've got this, these palpitations are just not going away, and I'm very worried. And they can get very focused on that and not look at the other things that are benefiting them. Or like you say, they come to it because they want to lose weight, and maybe they don't have as big of a success. Like, you lost 45 pounds in a month. I lost 23 pounds in 10 days. right? And other people say like, well, where the hell's mine? I've only lost 5 pounds. It's been 2 months. This is bullshit. And so, maybe it's just not working for me. But the thing is though, is that you'll talk to them. It's like, okay, well, what else is going on? And they were like, well, I love carnivore because I feel so good. I have such great energy. I'm off my medications. My autoimmune issues are in remission. My diabetes is get under control. But I guess I have to stop because it just didn't work for me. Carnivore didn't work for me because I didn't lose the weight, and I need to lose weight. And in my mind, it was working fantastically well. And, they were just focusing on, the wrong thing. They should have been focusing on all the benefits that they were getting. The weight will come off even for those people. Sometimes it just takes longer for some people due to various hormonal issues that we're not entirely sure of. I generally see this in people that have sky high elevated leptin, but not everybody with sky high leptin has that problem. So some people do. There's something else going on as well with that sky high leptin, but for whatever reason, it's just going to take time to settle down. Leptin starts coming down, everything else starts coming down, and then the weight starts coming off after that. And so you just need to be a bit more patient. Also, a lot of them are doing things like, they're doing carnivore, but I was like, okay, well, what does carnivore mean to you? What exactly are you eating? It's, I'm just eating meat and water. Okay, anything else? Any sauces, seasonings, drinks, sweeteners, this, that, and the other. And then it's just like invariably, oh yeah, well, I'm still having coffee. I put monk fruit sugar in it, and I use stevia on this, and I do this on that. It's like, okay, so that's not just meat and water, and quite often, for whatever reason, people that are stalling on the weight loss, when they're using these artificial sweeteners, that can be a stall for them. Or maybe people are eating a lot of dairy, and that can be a bit of an issue too. So try to encourage them. Eat enough. You need to get enough meat and fat, and especially fat. And then really just, you have to get rid of everything else to give this an honest shake. And then after that, focus on the positives. You're getting all these benefits, you're getting all these positives, but you're only focused on this one aspect that's not moving the needle as fast as you'd like. Well, all these other things are benefiting. And, and the thing is too, weight doesn't equal fat, right? There's a lot of other parts of our body that have mass. And, I lost 23 pounds in 10 days, but then I lost nothing after that. I was the exact same weight for months after that. And because I was working out and I was replacing my fat with muscle. And so I didn't lose any weight, but I lost a lot of fat, and my body was transforming itself. So that's another thing people need to think about as well. So I think that the few people that don't have those dramatic effects, sometimes they are having dramatic effects, but they're focusing on something else. And, so just encouraging people to just focus on your health, look at your health, look at how you're doing, really actually do get down to meat and water, just cut out all nasty ass artificial ingredients and sweeteners and things like that. And dairy as well. A lot of people have problems with dairy. And, if you're hitting a stall, you just got to get back to basics but also focus on, the good aspects and your health, because that's the first and foremost. The weight loss will happen, it will happen. But, the most important part is your health improving.
Well, change starts in the mind, not in the mirror. I heard somebody say that change starts in the mind, not in the mirror. And I'll be honest with you, I'm bringing my wife. She's back there right now. I'm bringing her out here, and she can testify even to the fact I never thought about my weight until I started losing it crazy, like fast. And my focus was always on improving my health. And once I really grabbed a hold of it and started and got going, I never thought about my weight as in like, and there were months where it slowed down, Now, I mean, I think the least amount I lost was like 6 pounds or something like that in 1 month time period, but it would always accelerate usually before or after. But I never focused on that. That was never the focus. I didn't really care. I kept up with it because I was like, this is insane. I lost like all this weight. I've lost 10 pounds this week. How does that even, is that water weight? Like, I'm trying to figure out how it's happening because, I don't know, but it kept me honest. But like you said, so many people have the other one is, well, I'm not going to the bathroom anymore. Or I'm constipated. And I'm like, okay, take a chill pill and think about this, relax for just one moment. No, but seriously, all joking aside, like you're going to use that nutrition. You're using that nutrition so much better.
Yeah.
But before I do want to say, I laughed a while ago when you said that about the palpitations. I kind of smiled because I thought it was just because I was that overweight and out walking. That's why I was having those palpitations. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was just from the diet, the changing my way of eating. But I was like, yeah, I had palpitations. I didn't really think about what that, going on at the time. But I was like, it's probably because I got 457 pounds moving up and down the road, So one way or the other, I kind of had to chuckle at that one a little bit. But yeah, using that nutrition, man, we use it so much more than the junk and toxic crap. I mean, from a logical standpoint, you're going to get rid of stuff you can't use. That's why you go to the bathroom when you eat nature's toilet paper. Who was it? Dr. Kiltzy called it nature's toilet paper. Vegetables and such, salads or whatever. That's why you get eliminated, because your body's like, what am I supposed to do with this stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To me, man, it's good, man.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're eating something you're designed to eat, you really shouldn't have a lot of waste, right? I mean, there'll be other things. You get simple carbs and things like that, and processed refined carbs or just potatoes. It'd be pretty low residue, but it's just the fiber. I mean, that's a clear sign that you're not, that's not something that your body wants. If you can't digest it, you can't absorb it, and it has to go out, as in the case with fiber, pretty good idea that's probably not something that you should ever put in your body in the first place. It's like, well, you give something motility, you give some bulk to move this through. It's like, all right, well, just eat a plastic bag then. Right. That would do the same thing. Give you some bulk. You can't break it down. You can't get nutrition, make you feel full, so you'll eat less. I mean, that was the sales pitch back in the 80s, but it wasn't really borne out. People that ate a bunch of salads and things like that, they ended up getting eating disorders because they were eating things that they didn't like. It didn't taste good. It didn't make them feel good. And so then they ended up just not eating it all because they just didn't want to eat it because it wasn't really nice for them to eat it. Or they were just so starved from lack of nutrients that they were looking at these other things, these fatty, sugary things, and their body just needed nutrients and calories. And and then all of a sudden you binge on it, and then you go like, can't believe I did that. And people would, develop bulimia. So, it's something that I don't think was borne out by the evidence. It was just a sort of this assertion that made it out there, and it didn't bear fruit. But plastic bag would have done the same thing, done the exact same thing. Eat some styrofoam, would have done the exact same thing. Just give you some bulk, stretch out your stomach, and oh, hey, look at that. You got some extra leptin. Don't need to eat anymore. Just ate this plastic bag. So, I mean,
that's
I think
the one I didn't try though.
The plastic bag.
The plastic bag. That's all. I think that's
the
the only
diet. Yeah.
I think I tried. Like, I did the salad. I did what is it? HCG. They tried to give you the lose. I think it was HCG. I went to this weight loss clinic one time, and I was trying to lose weight, and she's like, "Here, take these needles. There's like 10 of them over however long, and put it right here." And I'm like, man, I want to lose weight. What is this stuff? There's no telling what I did to myself. I didn't research it. I was like, it could have been like heroin in there. I don't know. Who knows?
HCG is a hormone that women release when they're pregnant, right? So it's this human chorionic gonadotrope, and so, but it sort of has a similar action to LH and FSH, luteinizing hormone and follicular stimulating hormone. So in men, it'll sort of stimulate testosterone and sperm production generally. Mm-hmm. And so, that's sort of the idea. And I've seen some different places that, I mean, I don't know anybody who's ever prescribed that, but I've certainly seen that, on the internet, people saying, oh, this is the best way to lose weight and gain health is sort of do that sort of thing. No, you didn't find that was good?
No, I didn't. I honestly, I did it for a little while, but I never, and this was years ago. Like I said, I've tried everything. None of it worked. None of it. I take that back. I did do protein shakes and like starved myself basically for 4 months one time and lost like 40. I could never get below 240 pounds. And then obviously, like, no matter what I did, I couldn't get below 240 pounds. I tried my best. And then obviously from way back when that happened to what led up to this, obviously it didn't work because it didn't stay off. It was an unsustainable living way of living, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
And this right here, it almost seems like a cheat. Like, it almost seems like I hate to even use it because it's such a cliche nowadays, but it's like a hack, like a cheat, whatever. But it literally is that simple. It's not, is the first thing I found this really is too good to be true, I mean, obviously there's issues, but I can't believe, I wish I could have went back in time and described what it's like now to myself years ago. And I would have eliminated so many problems, and wasted time and wasted pills and wasted money and wasted subscriptions to programs and wasted gym memberships that I didn't use, which I need to get involved with because I can do something with it now. And it's good for me. But how many months did I spend on a gym membership that have no energy to go to and no will, determination to go get on? So, but now, like, that's the thing. I haven't been in the gym like I should, but I'm looking to get started.
Well,
I wanted to get closer to my weight first. I'm there.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And you were saying about, wondering how you lost all this weight, you lost 10 pounds in a week. Is that water weight? Probably not. It's probably actual fat loss because, you are going to retain water early on. You have all this, excess inflammation and glycogen, drawing into water molecules per unit of glycogen, per molecule of glycogen. And, so at first, you would have lost a significant amount of water weight in the first couple of weeks. And after that, it's been fat, and it could very well be that the months that you were having, only lost like 6 pounds, maybe you only lost 6 pounds overall, but you probably gained several pounds of muscle. And so you had to lose correspondingly more pounds of fat to even get the 6 pounds of fat loss. So that's something that, that's probably explains sort of that.
It's amazing, man, because like I'm not like, obviously I'm not Anthony Chafee. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Like, seriously though, I mean, I haven't worked out, but like my arm, my muscle, I haven't lost any like muscle, like there's no weakness or like deterioration or anything. I mean, I feel like I could tell that it's not the same as anything else I had ever done. Obviously the weight loss, whatever, but like the way I feel, the way my skin is, like, that's the first thing my wife even noticed, the skin. I've always, had decent, skin as far as like moisturizing but it almost is like glistening. I could care less. I wish I could give it to my wife because she loves it more than I do. But nevertheless, like, she's always, she used to. She started Carnivore.
Nice.
So like my wife started eating Carnivore. My daughter's trying it. We're working with the kids to try to get them. My mom's on it.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law and my brother-in-law have lost like a good bit of weight and gotten like feeling amazing. And nobody was until they started seeing, at first I was my sister-in-law is actually a nurse practitioner. And so she was like, how are you going to get all your nutrients? And so we're talking, and now she's actually doing it now. So, and she sees why. All those people that I just named see why I was doing it now. They've all experienced. So.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a fair question. I mean, how do you get your nutrients? How do you get this? We're told that you can't get all your nutrients from meat. You have to eat vegetables. You have to get fiber. You have to do X, Y, and Z. And so they're all fair questions to ask, but they all have answers. And that's that's the good thing. And so it's good that your sister-in-law was open-minded enough to sort of look at that and just go, okay, well, yep, that clears that up for me. I'll give this a shot.
And telling people about it too.
Yeah, good.
She's on it now. She's telling people about it. And I mean, and it furthermore than that, like it makes me happy because I know that, part of sharing it, and obviously I feel a responsibility to do that, to help everybody else in this space who's doing it. And to also, because I feel like I've been blessed, I feel like it's my responsibility to take that and bless other people with it. And seeing that jump from person to person and hear the stories that come from it and the lives that are changed, there's no price tag or what that you could put on that. I mean, it's turning into something bigger than, I don't even know how to describe it, but somebody on the channel actually said, it's great that you can talk about your success, and go and give an account of your success. And I'm like, it is amazing. It is amazing. It gets crazy talking about yourself when you're not usually used to doing that. That's become something new because sometimes I'm like, people have to think I'm the most conceited person, but it's not like that at all. But I just responded to this person how I really feel about it. And it's, my success ultimately is going to be described by how many people get it and pass it on after and can implement these things and some changes and consider the changes that need to be made and see it happen in their life. That's when the success is going to, I'll count it as the ultimate success that my mission is accomplished, So, and then that's what I'm trying to do now, so I appreciate all that. But I think we all have that responsibility. And I mean, we learned that from like seeing you guys. I asked this to Dr. Barry, and I guess I should, I should throw this to you as well, because I didn't get to do it in the interview, but like the opposition, man, like I see it on about that level. But I can't imagine, I feel for you, the opposition that you face in this space, because there's so many people that like you were mentioning, we were talking about beforehand, that just talk and they don't have any factual basis about it. They bring up points like, even in the 60-minute thing that I watched. And you may not want to talk about that. I don't know.
That's all right.
But the hearing somebody who you have seen evidence of the truth of what they're saying and you're trying to help support that message, it's almost like a brother in arms, so to speak. And it's like, I'm like, come on, let Dr. Chafee speak. But then other people come on and you hear them all over the internet all day long making these claims of stuff that just is so far-fetched with no facts and no truth, So big thank you to you. Big thank you to you. You and all those like you. But it's a responsibility that I have. I'm sure you feel it too. I know you feel there's a responsibility and you feel that urge to get that message out and push it out. And I think that's something important for every one of us, not just me, not just you, but whoever sees this video sitting on the couch at home that's started experiencing this, tell somebody, please, because your testimony is going to go so much further than what you think it is. And reach so many more people. And that's going to live on after I'm dead and gone. There's going to be a video of me and you sitting here talking about this stuff, and somebody's going to see it one day. This stuff lives forever, right? So if you've been blessed, bless other people and share them, man. Yeah.
Well, that's a good. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and I do totally agree with you that it's so important for people to share this on with others. I mean, obviously not shove it down people's throats, but lead by your example and let other people follow if they want to, and it just be clear about it. Yeah, this is what I do. This is why I do it, and I feel great. Other people want to do it. That's fine too. If you're interested in it, happy to talk about it. And doing it that way. More and more people will get interested. I mean, I have people, come up to me at the hospital and they'll just talk to me about, carnivore or something else. And like, I've never spoken to that person about it, but they've watched my videos and they sort of know what it's about. And they're like, oh yeah, I watched that thing with your interview with so-and-so, and I really like this and this. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I had no idea you watched my videos, So it's amazing how many people you can influence and how many people just living your life and having a good life, that can be inspirational for other people, and they can be interested in looking into it further simply because of that. And that's why this is I think this movement's growing more and more. We're starting to get like a critical mass of people aware of this, and more people like yourself and myself who are hopping on channels and saying, hey, here are our experiences with it, and this is why we think this is a good idea. And more people are seeing that. And so, when I first came to Australia, it was like people thought I was out of my mind. And, I had adversarial conversations multiple times a day. People were like, wait, what? You do what? Like, what? Hold on a second. And it was like, it just became part of my life, was just like, I would have to explain this to people 2-3 times a day, every day, because like, hold on a second, and now it's, now it comes up because that's it. So people just see what I eat, and there's like, oh, hold on, no, don't you eat some veggies? I'm like, well, no, actually you don't. They're just super bad for you. And that would spark the conversation. But, now I do that, and they're like, yeah, I don't eat veggies, this and the other. And they're like, oh, you're doing carnivore diet. And I was like, yeah, I am. And they're like, oh, that's great. That's, my brother's doing that. He's lost a bunch of weight and he's doing really well. And so it's like, it's really interesting now that like more and more people have come around to it and are recognizing it just for what it is, and understanding that this is something that people are trying, and maybe it will be borne out as a benefit, and maybe it will be a fad diet, but I don't, but at least people are thinking about like, okay, this is an option, and this is something that they can look into, and even if they don't think that it's a good idea, at least it's something they have to think about. And to your point earlier, how can this be a fad diet? This is what we're designed to eat. And, that's not a fad. What we've been eating since the dawn of humanity is not a fad. That's just actually biologically what we're supposed to eat. You were saying you don't want to lump people into one category. I'm happy to lump people in biologically. We're people, we're Homo sapien, and we have a common diet. We have a common optimal diet. Some people are better or less able to eat inappropriate foods and less optimal foods, but that doesn't change what is optimal for everybody. I truly believe that. And I have yet to see an exception to that. And I've never seen or heard of an exception to that in nature. The example I like to use is, you'll never find an example of two members of the same species that have different optimal diets. Lions eat what lions eat. And people ask me, oh, what if I have this, genetic change? What if I have, this gene or this, that, or the other, this condition, or, does this change things? Excuse me. And I always say to them, well, regardless of your individual genetic variations to other people, you're still human. And so you're still, those properties still apply. And so you're still a proper human diet, or biologically appropriate species specific diet is still going to apply to you. Regardless of the genetic variations between penguins. Penguins eat what penguins eat. Lions eat what lions eat. Dolphins eat what dolphins eat. Elephants eat what elephants eat. And, especially if it's the same, in the same family of animals, they're going to eat the same thing. The same thing is going to be optimal for them as well. And that goes for us as well.
100%.
Yeah.
Keep on, man. I'm soaking it in, brother. That's what that was really the point I'm making about the 60 minute. I was like, my dude Chafee is thinking circles around people over there today, boy. That's just, that's where I'm at, man. I enjoy soaking it in because that I guess that's kind of the other weird side for being on YouTube now is like, and being able to, get some of you guys time and talk specifically with you, because I spent so long watching you. It's almost like when you're talking, I'm like pause it. I need to rewind that point.
Yeah.
He went deep on that one. And, so, I'm still learning, and I hope that never stops, man. I hope it never stops learning. I never stop hearing Dr. Chafee getting called out by the vegans and going hard and then them being left with nothing to say and those kinds of. So, it's amazing, dude. It's amazing how enough can't be said about this community as well. This community is the supporters. There's the same people that are watching your videos, jumping over into my videos, jumping over into Dr. You see them because I'm in there with them a lot of times, commenting back and forth and enjoying the stuff, man. And the community's great. And I just want to see it grow.
Yeah. Yeah. So do I, definitely. I was going to ask you too, you did mention that you had, a number of different medications you were on. You're pre-diabetic, had 3 blood pressure medications. How the medication is looking now? Are you still taking those, or have you been able to come off of them?
The first, I'm off of all my medications except for
Okay.
2. I still take the amlodipine and I still take the lisinopril, but I need to, like, I do get some of the lightheadedness, like
Mm-hmm.
when I stand up and whenever I'm like shifting positions a lot of times. So, and my blood pressure has been like, 104 to 106 over 72, right in there. So
Mm-hmm.
it's low, normal low. Nothing that not low enough that I worried about it, but when I start getting lightheaded and stuff like that, that's when I know it's like, all right, I might start backing up on this. The
Mm-hmm.
first one to go is HCTZ because, and I tell a lot of people too, I know, you may be on a diuretic, you may be on, whatever fluid pill, whatever you call it. But the HCTZ, one of the side effects from it was that it lowers testosterone and raises blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And um, in my case, being a type 2 diabetic with low testosterone, because that's one thing that I also forget. I do take testosterone replacement injections
Mm-hmm.
now because my testosterone was 122. And
Yeah.
and even I tried the gel because like who wants to give themselves a shot, but I want the pellets. But yeah, so low is obviously 220 on testosterone, but mine was at 122, and with the injections I think it's around 500, somewhere right in there, right in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
normal. So I do still take that, but I was like, I can't keep taking this HCTZ because I'm suffering from type 2 diabetes and low testosterone, which is a side effect of this medicine, making it worse. Let's stop that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we can look at no, we can stop that today, sir.
Yeah.
I'm not taking it no more is what I'm saying. I'm trying to be
Yeah.
nice. I need to stop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, come off that first and got to get off this other. But the colchicine, the allopurinol, those are both gone. No more gout issues. Red meat didn't flare my kidneys up and cause it to block the uric acid elimination or whatever. However, people are saying it happens now. Um, no issues. Let me think. What else is there? What else did I used to take all the time? No more ibuprofen 800 milligram pills all the time because I'm in
Mm-hmm.
my back's hurting or whatever. Every once in a while, I will get a little soreness somewhere. I was riding a lawnmower today out there cutting grass, driving it through the holes. I'm still not taking ibuprofen 800 milligram because it's nowhere close to as bad as it was back then. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the sleep apnea machine.
Great.
I got used to it being on my face. It's hard to get used to. And then once I got used to it, I started sleeping so good. I think it become like I'm addicted, like habit forming. So I still put it on, but the numbers are all zeros now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quit breathing when I sleep. So I'm assuming since I was never diagnosed and now it's not showing me bad numbers, maybe I don't need it. Who knows? I'm addicted to it right now.
Yeah. Well, I think
But
people do get used to that, where they'll put on the mask, and then that just sort of associates with, well, it's time to go to sleep, and your body just goes like, "Yep, time to go to sleep." And so, yeah, you can get used to that. I have that with the sleep mask. I've gotten so used to using the sleep mask; it works so well that when I put the sleep mask on, it's like, "Yep, time to go to sleep. That's it." And if I'm sort of sitting there in bed and just sort of like answering messages or something like that, and I don't put the sleep mask on, I'll be there for 2 hours. I'm like, Jesus, I just need to put this stupid thing on, and then it just lights out. So yeah, I know what you're saying.
well, and that's the other thing I hadn't even mentioned that, dude. It's so much. I need to start writing it down so I can remember to hit it all. Like the sleep. The sleep is amazing, and I need 5 hours tops, like, and I'm golden.
Mm-hmm.
Before I started carnivore, I could sleep, get up from sleep, and take a nap. And obviously, I talked earlier about my health, and I would sleep and rest and have no energy all the time. But now it's like, you know, I don't have to do a whole lot, and 5 hours of sleep, and I'm good to go again, and I
Right.
and I feel the energy, feel the I feel rested instead of like waking up tired and whatnot. So to me, that's amazing too. That's a benefit. I don't know how you forget about something so good, but like,
Yeah.
I so much. It's like blessed on top of blessed or something, as the best way to put it, because and it sounds so unbelievable. Here I like go through and watch my videos because I try to see where I could improve and see things that I could change to make quality control kind of stuff. And even listening to myself speak about all the things that I've seen over this journey is unbelievable. But I've experienced it. Others around me have experienced it, and it truly is amazing. And I'm so thankful, dude. That I guess that that's the other thing too. But yeah, the medications being gone is a big one. It saves money too.
Yeah. Well, well, hopefully that's I'm sure it's very inspiring for a lot of people hearing this, especially if they're in a position like you were leading up to this and saying that, like, there's no hope for me. Like you said, you had this feeling of hopelessness, and you've tried all these different diets, you tried every different diet, you tried the different medicational interventions and different sorts of, tricks and tips and all these sorts of things. And yet nothing worked to the extent that they needed to. And so just being able to be that inspiration for people, I think is going to help a lot of people. And so I appreciate your time and coming on and telling your story.
Oh, absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me. I can't state it enough. I've really enjoyed, being able to share with you and talk with you. And, I appreciate that, man. And I take it to heart, man, because there's a lot of stuff, obviously. I had you on my channel, and like, there's a lot of other stuff that you could be doing, I know your plate's full, and I know that you got your hands in a lot of stuff, responsibility for a lot of stuff. And I really, really, really appreciate you doing that for me, man. And speak it into my life, because you had a part in changing that as well, so, and it means a lot. So,
yeah. Well, you're very welcome, and I'm glad that I was able to help. That's why I do this, is to hopefully get people out there and just let them know that this is an option, and this is something that could help them. So I'm glad that it helped.
Absolutely.
Right. All right. Well, Shawn, thank you so much for coming on. Can you tell us where people can find you and your different channels that they can go and check out the rest of your stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the Intentional Carnivore here on the Intentional Carnivore here on YouTube. You can find me at Intentional Carnivore Shawn White on Facebook, and that's the two places that I'm going to be normally.
Perfect.
Easy to find. Come check it out, and we'll see you soon. Keep pushing forward.
Right. We'll put those links up in the description. People can find you there. So Shawn, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Hey guys, thank you very much for taking the time out to listen to what I had to say. If you like it, then please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and podcast. And if you're on YouTube, then please hit that little bell and subscribe, and that'll let you know anytime I have a new video out, which should be every week, if not more. And if you could share this with your friends, that would help me get the word out and let me know that you like what I'm doing. Thanks again, guys.